You think women remember the perfect compliment, the perfect date, the perfect chase. But what they remember is the moment you stopped abandoning yourself just to be chosen. You think attraction is built by saying more, doing more, proving more. But the moment that stays with her is usually the moment you said less, stood taller, and made it clear that your self respect was not up for negotiation. The three words are simple: I choose peace. And before you brush that off as soft, passive, or polite, listen carefully, because this is exactly where most men lose themselves. Those three words are not retreat. They are not weakness. They are not some cute little affirmation you whisper to feel better while your standards collapse. They are a line in the sand. They are the death of chasing. They are the end of confusion as a lifestyle. They are what a man says when he would rather keep his dignity than keep a connection that is draining the life out of him. Subscribe if you need reminders like this, because the world will keep selling you comforting lies. It will tell you to keep proving yourself, keep waiting, keep decoding mixed signals, keep calling obsession effort and anxiety love. You do not need more sedatives. You need truth. And the truth is this: the right shift in your life will not come from learning how to impress better. It will come from learning how to leave what costs you your center. Here's what it really means when you say, I choose peace. It means I do not confuse chemistry with chaos. It means I do not call inconsistency mystery. It means I do not treat emotional turbulence like proof that something is deep. It means I am not here to beg for basic communication, bargain for respect, or audition for closeness. It means if your energy is hot today, cold tomorrow, warm when you're lonely, distant when you feel powerful, I am not going to build my emotional life around your instability. I choose peace. Most men get this wrong because they've been taught the wrong story. They think the more they pursue, the more they care. They think the more unavailable she becomes, the more valuable she must be. They think if they can just hold on a little longer, say the perfect thing, stay patient enough, absorb enough disrespect without reacting, eventually she will see their heart and reward them. That sounds romantic. It sounds noble. It sounds mature. But most of the time, it's not maturity. It's fear in a suit. It's insecurity wearing the mask of devotion. That's called self-betrayal. Read that again in your mind. Self-betrayal. You are not being patient when you keep shrinking to fit inside someone else's confusion. You are not being understanding when you keep explaining away what is obvious. You are not being strong when you keep tolerating what drains your spirit. You are being conditioned to override your own perception. You are teaching yourself not to trust your own eyes. She pulls away and you chase. She goes silent and you explain more. She becomes inconsistent and you become more available. She lowers effort and you raise yours. That is not leadership. That is panic. And panic has a smell. You can call it intensity. You can call it passion. You can call it loyalty. But people feel it. Women feel it fast. Not because they are cruel. Not because they are playing some secret game against you. But because human beings do not deeply trust what has no standard. If your attention is available, no matter how poorly it is handled, it loses weight. If your time can be accessed without clarity, it loses value. If your affection remains on the table, no matter how chaotic the dynamic becomes, then your affection stops feeling like a gift and starts feeling like a guarantee. That changes everything. A mature woman may not say it this way, but she feels it. She feels when your interest has backbone and when it doesn't. She feels when your calm is real and when it's just fear trying not to be rejected. She feels when you are choosing her from strength and when you are clinging to her from emptiness. And even a woman who is not emotionally healthy, even a woman who likes drama, even a woman who enjoys the attention of men who chase her, will still register the difference. She may not reward it immediately. She may not even choose it. But she will not forget it. Because a man who can feel deeply without becoming desperate is rare. That's what the three words carry. I choose peace, not fantasy. Reality, not pursuit without direction. Presence with standards, not noise. Stillness, not emotional gambling. Clarity, not self-erasure. Self-respect. Now let's go deeper, because if you miss the route, you will turn this into another tactic. You will say the words, but your nervous system will still be screaming, please pick me. And if that's your energy, she will feel that too. So what's the root? Why do so many men collapse the moment ambiguity enters the room? Because for a lot of men, dating does not just activate desire. It activates old wounds. It activates the fear of not being enough, the fear of being ignored, the fear of being replaced. The fear that if you do not perform, provide, entertain, reassure, impress, overextend, and overfunction, then you will be forgotten. So when a woman becomes uncertain, you do not just feel disappointed. You feel threatened. Your inner world turns dating into survival. That's called emotional outsourcing. You hand your piece to someone else and then wonder why your life feels unstable. You stop eating right. You stop sleeping well. You keep checking your phone. You rehearse conversations that haven't happened. You read old messages like they're sacred texts. You create little courtroom cases in your head. Maybe she's just busy. Maybe she's scared. Maybe if I say it differently. Maybe if I wait until tonight. Maybe if I show more understanding. Maybe if I don't seem needy. Maybe if I become less direct. Maybe if I become more direct. Maybe if I disappear. Maybe if I come back stronger. Do you hear the madness in that? That is not love. That is dependence trying to disguise itself as romance. And the cost is brutal. You lose time. Real time. Months. Years. You lose mental clarity. Your mind becomes a hostage negotiation. You lose focus. Your work suffers. Your body suffers. Your friendships get neglected. Your purpose gets postponed. You lose edge. You lose rhythm. You lose self-trust. And the worst part is not even that you may lose her. The worst part is that while trying not to lose her, you lose yourself. Quietly, gradually, almost politely, one compromised boundary at a time. You stop saying what you really feel. You stop honoring what you really see. You stop walking away when you know you should. You stop being the man who had a life before this person entered it. You stop. You stop. You stop. And one day you wake up and realize you built your emotional home inside somebody else's weather. That is why the reframe matters so much. This is not about learning some magic phrase that hypnotizes women. Throw that childish idea in the trash. This is about becoming the kind of man whose presence is rooted in reality. The words only matter because of the identity behind them. I choose peace means I no longer participate in dynamics that require me to betray myself. I no longer romanticize being misunderstood, undervalued, or emotionally stretched thin. I no longer confuse access with intimacy. I no longer think being wanted for a moment is the same as being respected for the long term. And when that shift happens, something powerful changes in the way women experience you. You stop feeling easy to manipulate even if she was never consciously trying to manipulate you. You stop feeling like a man who can be fed crumbs. You stop radiating hunger. You become harder to shake because your center is not sitting in her hand anymore. That does not make you cold. It makes you trustworthy. Let me say that again because a lot of men have been poisoned by false extremes. They think there are only two options. Either be the nice guy who overexplains, overgives, and overweights, or become the detached actor who plays games, withholds affection, and pretends not to care. Both are weak. One is weak because he has no boundaries. The other is weak because he is terrified of sincerity. One performs availability. The other performs indifference. Both are performing. Strength is neither. Strength is honest interest with intact standards. That's the man. The man she doesn't forget is not the loudest man, not the flashiest man, not the man with the slickest lines, not the man who knows 10 psychological tricks. It's the man who is grounded enough to tell the truth and steady enough to live by it. He likes her and she can feel that. He is warm but not sloppy. He is intentional but not forceful. He is attentive but not hovering. He is open but not leaking. He is calm but not passive. He does not need chaos to feel alive. He does not need uncertainty to feel challenged. He does not need emotional roller coasters to mistake adrenaline for connection. He knows the difference between spark and substance. He knows the difference between desire and compatibility. He knows the difference between attraction and alignment. He listens closely. He watches behavior. He believes patterns. He does not argue with reality. And this is the part too many men avoid. He is willing to disappoint someone in order to remain loyal to himself. That is maturity. He does not raise his voice to prove seriousness. He lowers access. He does not threaten to leave every time he feels insecure. He simply leaves when the pattern is clear. He does not punish distance. He responds to it with proportion. He does not try to manage how she sees him. He manages how he lives. He does not chase reassurance. He creates a life that generates it from within. That man is unforgettable because he does not create drama. He creates contrast. She meets noise everywhere. He brings quiet. She meets men who sell themselves too quickly. He lets time reveal truth. She meets men who become addicted to attention. He remains faithful to purpose. She meets men who say, "Tell me what to do so I don't lose you." He says, with his life, "I know who I am even if you walk away." That lands. It lands because it is rare. Now hear me clearly. This is not about becoming rigid. This is not about acting superior. This is not about turning every dating interaction into a power contest. If you make this about dominance, you missed it. If you make this about punishment, you missed it. If you make this about making her regret losing you, you missed it. The goal is not to control anybody. The goal is to stop abandoning yourself. The goal is peace. The goal is congruence. The goal is to become a man whose standards protect his heart instead of hiding it. So what do you actually do? You stop trying to read potential where there is no pattern. You stop investing like a husband in someone who is showing up like a maybe. You stop rewarding inconsistency with deeper access. You stop turning every unanswered message into a mystery novel. You stop selling your value with extra effort after basic reciprocity disappears. And then you redirect. You return to your body. You return to your schedule. You return to your work. You return to your training. You return to your friendships. You return to your mission. You return to silence. Because silence is where weak attachment panics and strong identity returns. Here's the sequence. Slow down. Observe. Clarify once. Believe behavior. Act accordingly. Slow down. When you feel that surge to chase, wait. Not to manipulate. To regulate. To make sure you are responding from strength, not fear. Observe. Not what she promised. Not what you hope she meant. What is actually happening? Is the effort mutual? Is the communication consistent? Is the warmth stable? Are you being met or managed? Clarify once. Not 5 times. Not with an essay. One clear sentence. One direct conversation. One mature check-in. I'm interested in something clear and mutual. I like consistency. If this isn't aligned, that's okay, but I'm not here for confusion. Simple. Clean. Adult. Believe behavior. If the words are warm but the actions are absent, believe the actions. If the interest comes only when she is lonely, bored, or seeking validation, believe the pattern. If you are constantly unsure where you stand, that uncertainty is the answer. Act accordingly. Reduce access. Withdraw investment. Do not stay in negotiations with someone who has already shown you their capacity. Wish them well if appropriate. Mean it. Move on. That is where the 3 words become real. I choose peace. Not because you don't care. Because you do. Not because you're bitter. Because you're done betraying yourself. Not because you want to win. Because you finally understand that winning at dating means keeping your dignity intact, whether the person stays or goes. A lot of men need to hear this part too. Being deeply desired by a woman will not fix the shame you carry if you don't respect yourself. Even if she chooses you, your insecurity will poison the relationship if you're still starving inside. You'll need constant reassurance. You'll over-monitor her energy. You'll read into every shift. You'll make her responsible for emotional wounds she didn't create. And then what started as attraction becomes pressure. What started as connection becomes maintenance. What started as promise becomes exhaustion. So do not build your whole strategy around being chosen. Build your life around being solid. Solid in mind, solid in body, solid in speech, solid in pace, solid in values, solid in boundaries. Because that kind of solidity does 2 things at once. It protects you from unhealthy dynamics and it makes healthy intimacy possible. A secure woman can relax around a man who is solid. She does not have to guess whether your confidence is real. She can feel that you are not trying to consume her to fill your emptiness. You want connection, yes, but you are not demanding that connection rescue you from yourself. That changes the emotional atmosphere completely. And even when things do not work out, even when timing is off, even when she chooses a different path, she remembers the man who did not crumble, did not beg, did not twist himself into a better sales pitch. She remembers the man who looked reality in the face and stayed whole. She remembers the man who could be disappointed without becoming disrespectful. That is power. Controlled power. Mature power. The kind that does not need to announce itself. You want to know what truly unsettles people who are used to being chased? It is not anger. It is not coldness. It is not revenge. It is calm detachment rooted in self-respect. It is the moment they realize your peace is not available for bargaining. It is the moment they realize they cannot pull endless energy from you while offering uncertainty in return. It is the moment they see that your affection had standards attached to it all along. That's when your words matter. I choose peace. And maybe you never even say it to her exactly like that. Maybe you say it through your actions. Maybe you say it by no longer double texting. Maybe you say it by ending the conversation when it becomes circular. Maybe you say it by refusing late-night emotional leftovers from someone who vanishes in daylight. Maybe you say it by not returning to a pattern that already taught you the lesson. Maybe you say it by living such a grounded life that your absence speaks louder than your chasing ever could. That's what mature dating advice really is. Not how to win every woman. Not how to stay on every mind. Not how to become irresistible to people who are not ready. Mature dating advice is learning how to become unavailable for anything that pulls you away from your own center. It is learning that your standards are not walls. They are filters. They do not block love. They protect it. They make sure your heart goes where there is capacity, not just chemistry. So if you are in that season right now, if there is someone in your life making you question yourself, making you rehearse your worth, making you live in a constant state of maybe, hear me, your confusion is not a sign to invest more. It is a sign to get honest. Your anxiety is not always intuition that this is special. Sometimes it is your body warning you that this dynamic is expensive. And if every interaction leaves you smaller, more uncertain, more reactive, more distracted, that is not romance. That is erosion. Stop calling erosion love. Stop calling access intimacy. Stop calling your fear loyalty. Stop calling your silence maturity when it is really avoidance. Stop calling your overgiving kindness when it is really an attempt to secure a place in someone's life. Name it correctly, then leave it correctly. There is a version of you on the other side of this. A cleaner version, a sharper version, a calmer version. A version that no longer mistakes being wanted for being valued. A version that can sit across from a beautiful woman, feel desire fully, and still remain in command of his choices. A version that can hear mixed signals and not feel hypnotized by them. A version that does not need to win every opportunity because he is too busy building a life he respects. That man is not born. He is built. He is built every time you tell the truth instead of performing. He is built every time you walk away from ambiguity instead of negotiating with it. He is built every time you choose routine over rumination. He is built every time you protect your attention like the asset it is. He is built every time you refuse to make one person the center of your emotional universe before they have earned that place. He is built every time you remember that being alone is not the same as being empty. And once you become him, dating changes. Not because every woman suddenly becomes perfect. Not because rejection disappears. Not because pain disappears, but because you stop making pain mean something false about your worth. You stop reading every loss as evidence that you are lacking. You stop treating female attention like oxygen. You stop needing every door to open, and ironically, that is when your presence gets heavier, cleaner, more magnetic, more trustworthy, because you are finally there as a whole man, not a hungry one. So say the words. Say them when your mind wants to spiral. Say them when your ego wants to prove itself. Say them when your loneliness wants to settle. Say them when your attachment wants one more chance at a pattern that already disrespected you. I choose peace. Then live like you mean it. Leave what confuses you. Question what drains you. Protect what grounds you. Speak clearly. Move slowly. Watch behavior. Keep your standards. Keep your tenderness too, but stop handing it to people who have not shown they can hold it. And remember this above all. The power was never in the words by themselves. The power is in the man who can say them and not go back on them. The man who can feel longing and still keep his spine. The man who can want love without worshiping attention. The man who can face loss without losing identity. The man who can walk away clean instead of staying dirty. That man does not need to chase memory. He becomes memorable. He becomes memorable because he is rare. He becomes rare because he is real. And he becomes real because one day he got tired of betraying himself for scraps and decided that his peace would no longer be the price of admission into someone else's life. That day can be today. You do not need more game. You need more grounding. You do not need more tricks. You need more truth. You do not need to become colder. You need to become clearer. You do not need to be chosen to feel valuable. You do not need another person's uncertainty to define your future. You are not behind. You are not powerless. You are not too late. You are not the audition. You are not the backup plan. You are not here to beg for what should be given freely and matched willingly. You are here to become the man who stands in reality and does not flinch. You are here to reclaim your attention. You are here to reclaim your standards. You are here to reclaim your name in your own mind. You are here to remember that peace is not boring when you have lived inside chaos. Peace is strength. Peace is clarity. Peace is discipline. Peace is self-respect that no longer asks permission to exist. And when you finally live from that place, everything changes. The women who are healthy will feel safer with you. The women who are chaotic will feel the loss of easy access to you. The people who are only feeding on your over-effort will drift away. Good. Let them. What remains after that filtering is cleaner, more honest, and actually capable of becoming something real. So the next time you feel tempted to over-explain, to over-invest, to over-chase, to overstay, remember the 3 words that pull you back to yourself. I choose peace. Not because you are giving up, because you are waking up. Not because you are less loving, because you are finally loving yourself enough to stop participating in your own depletion. That is the shift. That is the standard. That is the man. And if this hit you where it needed to hit, subscribe because you need this kind of truth in your ear until it becomes your nature. Not once, repeatedly. The world is loud with fantasy, confusion, and emotional weakness dressed up as romance. Stay close to what brings you back to clarity. Stay close to what reminds you who you are. You belong among people who are done shrinking, done chasing, and done betraying themselves for attention. You are the answer.